Gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to MGTOW Money. Today's topic, MGTOW's, not Jordan Peterson's rules of life. Before we get to that, thank you to the ongoing support from the Patreon investors in this channel, those members of the MGTOW Money Army. Men, see the video description today, enlist in the MGTOW Money Army because this channel is moving forward. Let's get on to today's topic. Gentlemen, I am not a sycophant of Jordan Peterson. Yes, I've seen his interviews and some of his lectures, etc., and I do think he has some interesting things to say. I recently read his book, which has sold in the hundreds of thousands of copies, and by the way, I will include a link in the video description to his latest book, his 12 Rules of Life, which I would grade as a, let's just say a B minus C plus. It's okay. Again, you might want to take a look at it. It's not bad. I'll do another video discussing it more in detail in the future. But let me give you 12 rules of life from the MGTOW Money Army for those enlistees in it. Number one, the first thing, men, you want to do, if you take nothing else from this, listen very carefully to what I'm about to say. You need to get and keep in your life, as long as possible, the 4 Nos. 4 Nos, I've mentioned this before. No wife, no kids, no pets, no debt. No wife, no kids, no pets, no debt. Men, if you get those 4 things in your life and you keep them for a prolonged period of your life, I will virtually guarantee you, at the very least, you will have a reasonably satisfactory life that is reasonably happy and successful, etc., if you'll just keep those 4 Nos in your life. Next, money, of course, is the foundation of your life. In my opinion, despite what I've seen, that some people say that MGTOW is freedom, I disagree. MGTOW is a stepping stone to your freedom. And ultimately, your freedom is when you have amassed FU money at a relatively young age, which ties into, for most of you, for at least 4 out of 5 of you, probably significantly higher, but at least 80% of you, working a traditional job is going to be the way, your vehicle to obtain that FU money, which no problem. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I've seen many other people did. I'll include a video on various paths to do so. But again, for the vast majority of us, your job is going to be the vehicle to do so. Now, with that said, you need to seek out a job, not because, oh, well, I like it or my friends are working here or it's my calling or whatever. No. As I've said in the past in previous videos, your job should have one primary purpose, one overarching goal. That goal should be to earn you as much money as you can get in as short a time as possible. Period. End of story. If it's a great place to work, that's awesome, even better. But ideally, you want to have some balance of, and we're, of course, moving forward towards, and we're tilting towards, that it's earning a lot of money for you, or significantly above average, and you're going to a physical place to make sure you can get a significantly above average income. Furthermore, tying into that, men, you are saving as much as you possibly can from those earnings. Now, when I say savings, you're putting aside and, of course, correspondingly investing that money into assets. You're acquiring assets, additional money into your pocket. As I've mentioned in the past, I know some other commenters have said, I was saving 50% of my gross income, before taxes income, into savings and correspondingly investing. Yes, I was a fanatic. Yeah, I was a jihadist about that I am going to achieve financial freedom at a relatively young age, that I'm going to escape over the prison wall, if you will, of the 9-to-5 world. Next, I recognize, however, men, there is something that is more important than money. I would much rather be broke and have no money and heavily in debt at age 25 than be a billionaire a la Warren Buffett at 85. My point is that with good health and being relatively young, you can do a lot and you can achieve a lot. You've got to keep your health and strength as an absolute priority above anything else. 6, you need to have easy decision-making tools. Let me give you a couple of tools that I've incorporated into my life over the past couple of years that have been very, very successful. One, when I'm trying to make a decision, whether that means I'm going to go to see a movie, I'm going to wear a particular shirt, I'm going to buy a new car. So whether it's some sort of minor decision or a major decision, I will ask myself, if necessary, it's either hell yes or no. Very simple. It's either hell yes, yeah, I'm going to do this, or no, I'm not doing it. And you know what I find? Most of the time, it's no. And I really don't miss out on much. In addition, another thing, the tool that I've used is inverting the question. This goes back to the German mathematician Jacobi, as well as Nassim Taleb alludes to this, where he talks about always inverting the question. Don't think about what makes you happy. Think about what makes you unhappy. Don't think about why you want to buy something. Think about what are you trying to avoid? What do you dislike, etc. Always invert the question. 7, instead of buying and adding things to your life, etc., think about how you can avoid things, eliminating, removing things from your life that make you unhappy. Men, it is fairly easy to predict what makes you unhappy. It is much harder to predict what's going to make you happy. Yeah, it might seem like that, okay, I buy a new car and that makes me happy. Yeah, great. You're happy for 3 or 4 months and then it's an old car again. The point is, again, think about what makes you unhappy. Make a list of things that make you unhappy and remove, eliminate, at least minimize them as much as you possibly can. Think, men, what can you do today, right now, that you could eliminate or at least somehow minimize today, avoid, to make you less unhappy, if you will? 8, you need to play the game of life like an amateur. Tennis, golf, chess, these skill-based games. The point is, you want to minimize your mistakes. You want to avoid making mistakes. You don't want to always try to be hitting the winners. Instead, you want to avoid taking the losses. You want to avoid making the serious errors, etc. You will go a lot farther. 9, stop trying to predict the future. I know this is very, very difficult. I do this every day. We all have to do this. But the point is that as opposed to trying to predict the future, prepare for the future. Prepare for what could happen. Again, you're attempting to avoid errors. You need to let go of, I'm just as afflicted with this as anyone, let go of the fear of missing out. Men, it's better to miss a zillion opportunities than to blow up once. I can tell you, men, you lose it all, especially as you get later in age, 35, 45, etc., and having to start all over, it's going to be like climbing Mount Everest. Next, be very, very careful about who you're spending your time with. I've done videos in the past about this. I don't care whether it's friends, family, etc., acquaintances, people at your job. The people that you're spending the most of your time with, the vast majority of your time with, is ultimately, if nothing else, on a subconscious way, going to rub off on you. So, for example, if you're hanging around a bunch of people who really aren't progressing with their lives, who really aren't doing anything, who don't have many goals, who are just kind of hanging out, etc., working their minimum wage job, etc., guess what? That is probably going to be your life as well, and it's going to continue until you break that cycle. You're going to have to physically get away from that physical environment, and even if you have to get by yourself, you're better off to spend lots and lots of time by yourself and building up yourself than you are being around people who are negative, who are not moving forward with their lives, who are complaining and coming up with all types of excuses, etc. Next, you've got to get focused. I'm going to include, again, a link to, in this case, a very good book about focusing on just one thing. Let me ask you, what one single thing are you going to get done today? What one single, very productive, positive thing can you do today? Just one, not 10, not 3, not I've got this entire list. No, focus on one single thing that you can go to bed tonight and you can say, yeah, I'm glad. I'm happy that I did that and I'm moving forward. Do that every single day. Just focus on one single thing. I can speak from my own personal experience. I have focused on this myself. This works. One single thing. It can be something so simple. Can you just work out for 20 minutes? Can you read a book for 15 minutes? Can you do some sort of positive golden activity for 15 minutes today and feel good about it when you go to bed tonight? If you can do this on a regular basis, I guarantee you it will compound itself and you will feel good. Lastly, procrastination is a killer. Men, leaving everything I've talked about here, if you're not doing something, if you're not up and moving forward, then all this is completely irrelevant. Look, again, this channel, going back to I thought about starting this channel probably 2-3 years ago. Right after I heard about MGTOW, I kind of quasi thought about it. But for the longest time, all I did was think about it. I didn't do anything. I procrastinated on it. My point being is that I realized, and again, I read another book about this where the guy was talking about, look, 80% of the time, 80% is good enough. In other words, look at all the versions of software that come out. The idea being that you do your best the first time, you improve on it the second, the third, the fourth, etc. The point being, do your best the first time, improve on your task the second time, the third time, etc. You don't have to get to some sort of pinnacle of achievement here, men. 80% of the time when you're doing something, it's good enough if you can get it done 80%. Don't shoot perfection is the point. Don't be trapped by your procrastination to make sure that it's perfect. Men, as always, hit the like button if you found this useful. John Galt, out.